Two pills relieve allergy.
In racing, the best of the best let freedom ring with 600 miles of high-speed chaos. The engines fire at 5:30 Eastern on Fox. After the Lakers' Game 3 loss, Brian Windhorst said people were texting him saying, quote, "This is the end for LeBron." The King finished Game 3 with 23.7 rebounds, 12 assists. Shannon, do you think there's any truth that this is indeed the end for LeBron?
Before I address that question, Skip, I said earlier that in 3 previous games, Jason Tatum hadn't scored any points. He scored points, but they come from the free throw line. He has yet to make a field goal in the fourth quarter, so I wanted to correct that. He went 5 for 5 in one game, 6 for 6 in another game, so he has 11 fourth quarter points all from the free throw line, no field goals.
Got it.
Jen asked, is there any truth to this being the end of LeBron? Nobody said anything about Father Time until LeBron hurt that foot. You started hearing about the foot once he hurt the foot and he came back. Then we started hearing. And considering that, Skip, he is in year 20, but he's averaging 23 points, 10 rebounds. He's averaging 23 points, 9 rebounds, 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Say that last thing again.
10 assists.
10 assists a game.
Yeah.
That's
while shooting 48% in 41 minutes.
Yep.
He averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, shooting 49 in his first 2 against Memphis and Golden State.
Yep.
And I believe he's dealing with a foot injury. The thing is that everybody wants the demise to happen, but it's not. I believe LeBron James will pick up in the regular season next year where he left off once this foot is healed. Yep. I don't believe it's Father Time. I believe he needs healing time. I could be wrong. We'll find out once this offseason happens. He gets corrected, whatever done, because he said, the doctor said, we've never seen anything like this. For you to come back in this length of time, this short of time, and be able to play, but I believe he's playing through something, but nobody cares because you're LeBron James, you're out there on the court, and they expect greatness when they see you out there on the court. But no, I do not believe Father Time is all of a sudden tap LeBron James on the shoulder. I believe he's dealing with that foot injury, and it's affected him. It's affected him more than we possibly know.
Okay. So I know Brian Windhorst pretty well.
Yep.
He knows LeBron because he's covered him since like middle school. I don't know if Brian meant that 2 people texted him or 20 people texted him that this is the end for LeBron.
Right.
I don't see the end because of those numbers you just read. And I see bursts in all 3 of these games against Denver. I have seen bursts of greatness.
Right.
Seriously, where I'll see him launch himself just like the good old days.
Right.
He can't sustain it the way he
No. He's not going to be able to play at that level for like 40 minutes like he used to.
So he can't have quite the scoreboard impact that he used to. So I've been all over him for years, since 2004, for jacking up too many threes. And I first guessed it going into this series, and now he's 3 for 19 from 3 in this series. Would I like that of those 16 missed threes, do I wish that 8 of them had been basket attacks or post-ups or whatever? Sure I do. But then I start thinking, am I being fair to him? Is it possible that both of his feet, I think it's ankle issues, that's what I'm told, that they're just arthritic, they got so much scar tissue, it's just hard for him to function at the level. He's 38 years of age. He's got mileage on him nobody else has.
And Skip, we see like sometimes like he shoot a shot or he does something and he just step back and steps on someone's ankle and he's like he's in excruciating pain.
He goes down in a heap.
Yes.
Okay, so is it possible he's just pulling up from 3 because he doesn't really have the push-off to attack the way he used to? Is it just a way, well, I can't do that, but I can still do this okay, and I hope I catch a hot streak, and maybe he will. Maybe tonight he's capable of making 5 or 6 threes.
Yes.
All right, so we're not seeing the scoreboard impact. I'm not seeing the fourth quarter impact total, because I told you in the fourth quarter he hasn't been very good. I got his stats here somewhere, but they're all over the place. But he's like, he's 5 of 17 from the floor in the fourth quarter. He's just not scoring the way. They need a game from him tonight where he just takes over the
where he scores like 15. He has one of those, Jamal Murray, one of those yoke games in the fourth quarter.
To do so, he'd probably have to make 3 threes and have a couple of breakaway tomahawks, you
Right.
know, where he just gets them on the run and just pounds on them. But listen, it's laughable to me that I'm looking. If we took these numbers for 3 games and I put them on any other Joe Blow somewhere, you'd be saying, "Oh, this guy's he's something." Right?
If I take out LeBron and I say a guy's averaging 24 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists in the finals.
In the conference finals, what do you say? That guy's
he balling.
Yeah.
If he a free agent, he about to get a max contract.
max. Okay, but all right.
It's LeBron.
Do I see him going away? Is this the end? No.
No.
Is it okay? And as Windhor said, okay, it's the end of 2018, LeBron. That's the way Windhorst put it. You know, like
19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So
5 years ago.
yes.
I'm sure it's the
so
end of
I want to know the person that's the exact same today as they were 5 years ago.
Okay. Okay. In large part because of him, they crushed Memphis, and then they put it on Golden State pretty good,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And they almost beat them in 5 games because I'm sorry, they did pull that one off. They were up 14. Remember, they showed you
that was game one.
Game one, they showed you who they were. We're 14 up, and I know it dwindled, and they almost let it fritter away, but they still won game one at Golden State, and then that was it. They were in charge really the whole way. Okay, so I don't see this. I'm picking them tonight. You're down on them tonight, but I think this is the kind of night where LeBron says, "Okay, watch this," because I still think he's got it left.
But Skip, when he averaged 29, 8, and 6, did you hear anybody say Father Time? I didn't hear not one person say Father Time. I want to know, so I want to go back and look at that stretch from the time of his birthday, December 30th, to February 7th. I want to hear how many times people said LeBron James is done. This is the end of LeBron James. Father Time, his father tapped him on his shoulder. I want to go back and listen, and I need y'all to send me all the clips. I'm looking from December 30th to February 7th, and then go back and look when he hurt his foot, and how many times you heard those comments.
Yep.
Skip, look,
What did he average over that? Like 30?
Yeah, he's like 30 for like 35. 30, yeah, way over. Yeah, in the 30s, way 30. He was Western Conference Player of the Month.
We have never seen a man at that stage and age do what he did.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how many games, but it's over. So it's 5 weeks.
Yes.
5 good
Yes.
weeks, right? Never.
No.
He was out of his mind.
Skip, you know, it's like when people say he or she is the healthiest 90-year-old I've ever seen.
Right.
They still 90. LeBron James is the best, most conditioned 38-year-old professional basketball player we ever seen.
That's true.
He's still 38.
Okay.
He still got 20 seasons.
Yeah,
and he still got all those playoff minutes and games on those legs.
The problem is he's played, isn't it the most playoff minutes?
Yes.
He's played the most playoff minutes of any human ever.
Yes, most playoff games.
Okay, well, what's that going to do to a man's body?
And so he's played how many games do you think he's played, Skip? 260? He's played probably 3.5 seasons of playoff games. On top of the 20 seasons of regular season basketball he played.
Yeah. He's getting a bad break during the conference finals because they're going every other day.
Yes.
If this were the finals, you'd get those big breaks.
Yeah,
You
you get two.
Especially when you have to mix in the travel and it's
Yeah, like, even it's like when they look, it wasn't like they was going by mule and buggy back in the 80s and 90s. Well, they travel private, but you still got to travel.
So do you think he actually is going to pack tonight for the trip? Or do you think he'll give it up in his mind and just say, we're not going?
No, he'll pack. He's packed.
Okay.
He'll be ready.
He should pack.
I think all of them. Skip, honestly, I believe all of them will pack. Will bring something to the stadium. Like, okay, because we're gonna leave after the game.
Okay. Because if you win, you're gonna have to leave right after the game.
Yeah. But I don't believe this is the end for LeBron.
I don't either.
This ain't the end of the road.
No.
I don't think he'd go out like this either, guys. I completely agree. You just need some time to get healthy. A true off season. Okay, let's move over to those Eastern Conference Finals now. Jimmy Butler and the Heat, guys, are they legit or are they just riding a hot streak? Let's get your take when we come back. Definition of an underdog. In Game 1, Miami was an 8-point underdog, 9 points in Game 2, and 2.5-point underdogs at home in Game 3. Now in Game 4 at home, the Heat are finally favored by 2, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, who you're riding with? Do you think the Heat are for real?
Skip, they're one win away from the NBA Finals. How can you say they're not for real? This is not one. I can see if they had played one game, knocked the number 1 seed off with one game. Okay, like, well, dang, I don't know. They kind of got a little lucky. Okay, they knocked off the number 1 seed in 5 games. They got the number 2 seed down 3-0. They've won 11 games thus far. It's hard to deduce that they're not for real. This is not like football, Skip, and I think that's why we love football in March Madness. One game, we saw NC State do the unthinkable to Houston. We saw Villanova do the unthinkable to Georgetown. We've seen things like that happen, Skip. But in basketball, we don't see this often. That a team like, and for real, yeah, they're for real. Now, their three-point shooting is what has me puzzled. Yeah. Because Duncan Robinson shot 33% in the regular season. He's shooting 45%. Caleb Martin shot 36%. He's shooting 42%. Benson shot 33. Now he's at 38. Even Kevin Love has increased his three-point shooting by 7. Screws by 2. Kyle Lowry by 2. So that's what, Skip, they were dead last. They were 27th three-point shooting. They burst now.
Yep.
So if you want to say something that's not for real, maybe, is their three-point shooting. But if you watch them play, the way they get up into people and the way they get after people and where they can attack the basket, and Jimmy Butler is their central figure, everything works off of him. He cools the entire building. He is the thermostat that works the house, Skip. Yeah, I tell you what, go ask Milwaukee, go ask Boston, are the Miami Heat for real? I think they're 100% for real.
But if you ask the odds makers, they're not sure.
They just make it run. They taking all that money and Skip. They still bet on them underdog. Skip, think about it, Skip. They were under. Even I saw what? Hold on. Even after they had won the 2 games on the road, Vegas still said there's a 65% chance that the Celtics win the series, being down 0-2.
That is correct. They were a 2.5-point favorite last night going into the game.
Vegas tricking y'all people.
Okay. Well, but again, first night, Celtics 8-point favorites at home, and then because they lost game 1, it went up to 9 for game 2.
Yeah. And guess what? And people bet on them Celtics too, and they lost. And guess what? The Celtics were favored yesterday, Skip, and people bet on them Celtics. And guess what? People said, I ain't bet on them no more, and now the Heat favorite. See?
Well, you bet on them.
I did. They got me broke. They got me feeling looking in my pockets.
Yeah. It is a bizarre story because they were barely above 500 in the regular season, and they lost to the Atlanta Hawks at home in the same building you watched them in last night. They lost to the Hawks and were on the edge of the cliff against the Chicago Bulls. You like the Bulls?
Yes.
And it went to the last 3 minutes, and Jimmy finally said, no, that's enough. I got you. And he pulled out that game to allow them to survive as the 8 seed. This is the 8 seed. And to your point, the beauty of the NBA playoffs, some people don't think it's the beauty, but it's not March Madness because it requires you to win 4 games. So you get exposed. You can have a hot game or 2, but you just get exposed.
Yes.
And over time, you just sit back and say, no, I'm sorry. You had your moment in the sun because the sun heated you up, and then that was it.
Yes.
And you got blown off the court the rest of the way.
We see 15 beat 2 seeds, and we see.
Yes.
But guess what? Eventually, it catch up with you.
Okay. Nobody is catching up with them because they just dominated the Milwaukee Bucks, and they are dominating the Boston Celtics, the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And I'm going to say it again. Playoff Jimmy is a real thing to me because I believe, and I told you Friday, I think he does save himself because he gets it the way very few have ever got in the history of this game. He knows what matters when it should matter. He knows how he has to play and what he has to reach down for when it's absolutely time. And his mentality is just get me in the tournament.
Right.
I don't care what tell me what seed. I'll be the 29th seed, but if you get me in, and I get to play somebody in the first round, I'll show you.
He just wants a seat at the table.
Just a seat, and he's got a seat at the table, and now he's banging on the table.
And now he's sitting at the head of the table.
More. So, in my time, I've never seen a player orchestrate. He's not a point guard. Nobody ever accused Jimmy of being a point guard. But they go as he goes. Literally, he makes them go.
Yep.
And last night, he scored 16 points because they didn't really need him to score, right? He just does whatever gets needed.
Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson was scoring all the points.
Okay. So he's like, and do you think he lost any sleep over them scoring? But he doesn't care.
No.
All he cares about is winning basketball.
That's correct.
So they're down to a very meager rotation now because they're running out of bodies. But now that all of a sudden Duncan Robinson is back from the quote-unquote end of the bench dead, and he's making threes, okay? You got it. Because in the first quarter last night, Caleb Martin came out and just bombed away. But again, all they need are 7 players, maybe 8. But they've lost Tyler Hero and they've lost Victor Oladipo, and now it sounds like they lost Kevin Love to an ankle injury, and they're just fine.
I think the thing is what makes them going to make them even more dangerous, Skip, if they keep spacing the floor like they do it and hitting threes, not Jimmy's really going to be able to operate one-on-one. He's going to have all that. It's just unbelievable that these guys, how they've increased. Skip, I mean, we don't see 14, 12-point increases in shooting percentage. That's crazy. Only 2 teams are ranked last in points per game in the regular season and reached the NBA Finals. The 64 Warriors and the 56 Pistons. The Heat are 1 win away. They were scoring the least amount of points in the NBA, and they're about to score. It's all about scoring, Skip. It's all about scoring.
It is. Yeah.
Well, they're about to go to the NBA Finals and be dead last in scoring.
There'll be stretches in games when they're scoring challenge. And I'll say, I don't know if they can pull out of this. But then somebody hits a 3, and then somebody else hits a 3, and all of a sudden they
and then they'll go 5 minutes and they can't miss.
Can't miss a 3. So are they just a hot mirage? No. I think they're completely legit. Again, I picked them to beat Boston. I thought it would take 7 crazy games. And now they're on the verge of sweeping Boston. And I think they have a good shot at sweeping Boston just because they have completely demoralized the Celtics. The Celtics have lost all faith in anything that they do. Again, if I'm Boston, I would come out and just try to take the ball out of his hands every time. I would double him every time. They've had stretches where they did that. But when he gets to go solo on somebody and he gets 1 foot in the lane, bad stuff happens to the Boston Celtics.
What was that? Was that game? I don't forget what game it was. I forgot what quarter. When they scored 40, the Heat scored 46. And we thought that was
game 1. Yep.
But look at this: 30, 31, 32, 35. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're more like the team that's scoring in bunches now. As that 46 doesn't seem like an anomaly like we first thought it was, given what they've been able to do throughout the entirety of the playoffs thus far.
Well, it feels like the whole team was saving itself for this run, right?
It does.
Because Jimmy is rolling the way. I mean, you would have to say so far, is he not the MVP of the playoffs? I mean, you can do Jamal Murray if you want.
I think here Yoke, because the job that Yoke did on the Phoenix Suns, Skip.
Okay, but this guy is doing it with 3 undrafted players.
Exactly, but at least you could say, well, Murray got Jokic, Jokic has Murray.
Yes, yeah. He does have Bam, and Bam grows on me because he will give you every drop of sweat.
Bam, he's going to play hard.
But he's 6'9"-ish, right?
He's going to defend the paint, but Skip, it's all Jimmy.
Yep.
Jimmy is the thermostat. He controls everything.
Whew. He's controlling the playoffs.
He is.
He is amazing, gentlemen. Playoff Jimmy, year in and year out, never fails. All right, let's talk a little bit about LeBron. Did he just reveal the difference in the series against the Nuggets? Ooh, let's talk about that on the other side of this break. We'll be back in just a moment.